Sweetie Belle eased the kettle off the stove with her magic. She still struggled with heavy things, though she had only a partly filled. Like copper kettle was a strain. It gleamed the curtain-filtered sunlight, reflecting her own face back at her. She'll be here soon. She's always punctual, professional, punctual, perfect. A loud knock ran through the kitchen. Startled, she nearly dropped the kettle. "Hello?" trilled a muffled voice. "Sweetie Belle, I got your message. Are you in there, darling?" "Coming." She gave up, dragged the cooling rack over her hooves, and dumped the kettle into it with a hollow slosh. Jumping down from her stool, she scampered to the door. Upon throwing it open, a perfumed hug immediately consumed her. "Darling!" "Rarity!" Sweetie Belle pawed at her sister. "I can't breathe." "Whoops!" Rarity set her down. "Let me look at you. Have you grown? I swear you've grown since I last saw you last." "You've only been gone for 3 weeks." "Yes, but it feels so much longer." She outstretched a hoof, trembling theoretically. Canterlot life moves so fast. One may think a whole year has gone by at the end of each week. Would you like some tea to recover? You could still tell me about this." "That sounds like a perfectly excellent idea. I bought some ginseng, especially. I know it's your favorite." "You did?" "Uh-huh." Sweetie Belle pointed at the box at the counter. For a moment, Rarity's eyebrows rose, creating the fine wrinkles in her forehead. As if realizing this, she smothered her expression into a beatific smile. "How thoughtful of you, darling. How? The tea shop is rather expensive. Miss Cake had been letting me do odd jobs around Sugar Cube Corner, and Applejack paid me and Scootaloo to help Apple Bloom paint the new barn." "New barn?" "Oh yeah, you wouldn't know. Last Thursday, a Wyvern accidentally knocked down the old one." "A Wyvern? Don't worry." Spike called Ember, and she chased it off, but the barn kinda got smashed while they were, talking. Again? One would think it by this stage the Apples would cut their losses and build an underground bunker. One eyebrow quirked as if she wanted to rise, but didn't have the courage. Then again, knowing their luck, Diamond Dogs would tunnel in and collapse the place. It's really cold outside. You should come in so I can close the door." "Oh yes, how silly of me. Do forgive me, darling. The snow has made my boots all muddy. I'll just leave these on the mat, shall I?" Sweetie Belle looked down at Rarity's hooves. Although the boots were fashionable, their beauty was marred with a fine layer of brown ooze. A silent alarm wailed. Could you use your magic to wipe them clean first?" "Of course, darling." Clearly noting the request, Rarity levitated the towel off the hook and made a quick work of the muck. The hamper in the corner of the kitchen opened to accept the offering. Sweetie Belle concentrated and swung the door open shut with the soft green glow of her horn. "Very nicely done, Sweetie Belle. Have you been practicing?" "Every day. Cutie Mark Crusaders could be called on to do much pretty everything. So I've been pretty much working on all my skills." "Such dedication." Rarity delicately inched into one of the kitchen chairs. "Would you like some help, Pet?" "No, thanks. I can handle it." Sweetie Belle hopped up from her stool again and finished the task. Behind her, Rarity cleared her throat. "I must say, darling, your kitchen skills have certainly improved. You've barely made any mess at all, and the glistening smell is simply divine." The kettle barely hitched. Barely. "Like I said, I've been practicing. Twilight says the only way I could get better at magic is to practice it every single day. Miss Cake won't let me pour hot drinks into anything, but she lets me sweep up, and Pinky lets me ice the cupcakes and things. So that is almost as good. Twilight is quite alright, of course. Goodness knows I couldn't have nearly the fine control I do now if I hadn't practiced as a filly. You should have really seen my early stitch work. Truth ghastly. Making mistakes was one of the motives for us to improve, though. Her voice tilted upwards, as if imparting some nugget of wisdom to a student. Sweetie Belle poured the hot water into the teapot. How was Canterlot? Beautiful, elegant, stylish, and magnificent squeak. Rarity did not manage to keep up the wistful sigh from her voice. I sometimes wonder wherever I made the right decision, leaving Sassy Saddles in charge there instead of remaining myself full-time. The city is so wonderful, chick. Ponyville will always be my home, but it seems so, well, dull in comparison. The kettle hitched again. This time hot water slopped out onto Sweetie Belle's forehoof. She bit down on the squeal. Darling! Instantly, Rarity was beside her. Sweetie Belle felt the kettle plucked from her aurora, much stronger than her hoof grasp between Rarity's own. You've scalded yourself. It's nothing. It most certainly is not. Come here quickly. We must run it under cooled water. Setting the kettle back down on the cooling rack, Rarity picked up Sweetie Belle bodily with her magic and whisked her away to the sink. A glittering silver peeled away, twisting the faucet. Put your hoof right there. Don't fight with me, please. Sweetie Belle stopped struggling. The cold water was indeed a slave to the pain. A little more practice, huh? Rarity said with the obvious attempt to good humor. I guess so. Rarity shot her an odd look but didn't comment. The next few minutes were taken up with treating the scald with a healing balm extracted from her travel bag. A gift from an admirer, the alchemist stallion. Very nice, but a little too intense for me. And wrapping the injury in gauze, if she hadn't become a designer, Rarity might have easily become a nurse, which such was the precision of her movements and confidence with what she acted. Thank you, Sweetie Belle said, held the bandage hoof to her chest. Sorry, Rarity. Whatever it is to be sorry about, darling. It was an accident. I wanted to impress you, to make your homecoming special. Oh, but you did. I'm positively touched at your efforts. Right now in some glistening tea seems like a wonderful idea for the both of us. Do you still take 4 lumps of sugar in your tea? The odd book reappeared. Sweetie Belle didn't have the name of it, nor the strange tone of the voice that came from her sister when she spoke. Sweetie Belle, is everything all right? Sure. You do realize that I abhor liars, or guess? She nodded slowly. And you're lying to me, and since I know you're not habitually a liar, that means you have another reason for doing so. Therefore, we should try that question again. Is everything all right? Even slower, Sweetie Belle shook her head. Am I trying to pry it out of you? I see. Like I said, I wanted to make your homecoming special. Sweetie Belle swallowed hard. You always talk about how much better Candlelot and Manhattan are than Ponyville. Well, in some ways they are, but Ponyville has its charms too. She lowered her eyes. What if the one day that's not enough? Is that what's bothering you? Darling, you have no need to worry. I have no plans to move away from Ponyville, at least not long term. Maybe not, but... Rarity angled her head to meet her eyes. Sweetie Belle? You've never been away this long before. What if next time it's a whole month or 2 months or 6 or... The wailing sharpened into words that slashed through her thoughts. Sweetie Belle squeezed her eyes shut. They didn't go away. Sweetie Belle, you're shaking. Sweetie Belle. Rare forelegs encircled her. Sweetie Belle did not open her eyes. She smelled perfume and the soft fur of her sister's chest against her nose. Please don't leave me, Rarity. I need you. I need the Carousel Boutique. She nuzzled deeper. Where will I go on bad days if you're not there? Rarity stiffened. Oh, my darling. Her embrace tightened. I thought she was seeing a therapist. She stopped going. Daddy keeps trying to make her go back out, and she says it wasn't helping. She said he was gossiping about her to Ponies. What? But she has to know he isn't. Patient confidentially. That's what Daddy said, but she didn't believe him. She's convinced the therapist was taking the whole town about her. She stopped taking her meds. She felt Rarity's grasp. It whispered confirmation of long-held fears, but she promised that this time. She was hiding them, pretending to take them. She said they made her sleepy all the time. Daddy and I didn't notice. She was acting normal. Was? Rarity paused before asking, "How bad is she?" Sweetie Belle gulped. "She scrubbed the hole in my bedroom carpet when I spilled hoof polish on it. I didn't mean to. The protestation came easily and pathetically. And it was only a little, I swear. But she got so mad. And when she couldn't get the stain out, she cut the whole carpet out with scissors and threw all my hoof polish away while I was at school. Daddy got the carpet out of the garage so I wouldn't have to bare floorboards, but the hoof polish bottles were smashed and he couldn't save them, and..." She gulped so hard that it felt like her windpipe might burst. "She had saved all of her allowance for a month for those bottles. She was still scrubbing the floor when I got home. She wouldn't stop. It was like she couldn't even hear me. She just kept talking about the mess, and he had to... Breathe, darling. Deep breaths. Don't try to talk." The words bubbled up anyway. He had picked her up because she wouldn't stop cleaning. She was screaming, like she used to when you still lived at home. She hasn't done that in so long. Rarity, I was so scared." The final word became high-pitched whine buried in her sister's chest. She didn't sound like that, like her. Her hooves were all raw from the cleaning products. She hadn't dilated any of them. She burned the hair and the skin off of her hooves, and she still wouldn't stop. Sweet Celestia! For a while, just breathing came the most difficult thing in the world. Sweetie Belle's throat seemed to close in on itself, restricting the amount of oxygen she would suck in. She tried to focus on inhaling and exhaling, but her thrumming mind seemed to have clogged her airway with unspoken words. As if reading her thoughts, Rarity held her close. "It's all right, darling. It will be all right." "It won't. Out of all the people she could squeeze it, why did it have to be those? She won't. Daddy called the hospital and he's there today. That's why it's just me here. She's due home tomorrow. They're releasing her." Rarity squeezed her tight. "Why didn't he call me?" "Because he didn't want you knowing." The final vowel elonged, becoming stiffening and snorting howl, like an animal in a trap trying to chew its way on foot and wailing at self-inflicted pain. "I have a right to know. She's my mother." Rarity coughed and her voice returned with a soft, less piercing pitch. "I'm so sorry, Sweetie Belle. You shouldn't have to go through all this." Sweetie Belle craned up her neck upwards. Rarity had her eyes shut. Can I come stay with you for a while?" "Of course, darling. And when Father gets home, he and I are going to have a few words." "Please don't yell at him, Rarity. He did what he thought was right. He's so proud of you. He didn't want to pull you away from work in Canterlot." Rarity sucked in air through her mouth, held it, then released through her mouth in a thin stream that tickled her sister's ears. "I understand," she said crisply. "It's possible that I might have done that in the same position. But I know now, and we must proceed in the manner that reflects the fact that I know what's been going on in my absence." "Please don't yell at him." "I promise I will not shout at him. I do not promise that I will make him aware of my feelings on this matter." Rarity brushed away a hoof through Sweetie Belle's mane in a gentle motion that she had used since before even Sweetie Belle's age. When they were both hid in the corner, they hoped the father would make enormously return with the kind of words and empty gestures. "Mother is very sick. It is probable that she'll require extended visits to the facility again." Sweetie Belle did not need to ask why Rarity refused to reveal its real name. "What if that happens? You shall stay with me indefinitely. Carousel Boutique will be your home, not just your bolt hole for bad days." Sweetie's eyes snapped up. "You mean it?" "Yes," Rarity said, soft enough to be nearly inaudible. Thoughts played across her face, and she briefly bit her lip. But before Sweetie Belle could think to put any names to them, she finished. I do deserve you to feel safe, Sweetie Belle. If I can officiate that, well, then I will. But no buts. I shall discuss the argument with father, and I may be his daughter, and he may wish to keep things from me that he thinks will hurt me. But I am also an adult mare, and I think sometimes he just forgets that. He backed Sweetie Belle's eyes stung. Raw emotion clogged in her throat. She suddenly felt sickly all over, like someone had just poured honey all over her fur, and every time she moved it just rubbed in fervor. Her movements were stiff and jerky. Huh? The stylable was all she could manage. Shh. Rarity continued to pass a hoof over her mane. Her heartbeat under Sweetie Belle's cheek was resolute and comforting in a way words were not in that moment. Shh. It'll be all right, darling. It would not be. But in that moment, the kind words and empty promise were enough for Sweetie Belle. What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video. And I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, please stay pretty.